Checkmate.
All right, now you can.
I gotta keep it G-rated. I gotta think G-rated audience, and that way
G-rated
I'll only
only.
cuss a couple times, and it won't be that bad. G-rated.
But,
you know what I mean?
But then the Sonner Sites Uncensored episodes won't be very long.
Oh my God! Well, I can say whatever.
You can say whatever,
but I may
basically.
also have to say a G-rated version.
Yeah, you might have to just say it
Just
over
in
again.
case.
You know, for the
sensitive ears.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah, mainly just like for us in the future. Like it's just so funny to say whatever is on our mind for like a journal.
That's true.
And then
or like really
podcast,
personal things that you actually aren't ready to share. Yeah, you're right. It is good.
Like I could ask you whatever question I want. I probably just took out a question right there. I probably just edited a question out. They don't even know.
Who knows what's real these days?
You might not even know what we actually talk about on this podcast. Wow.
Deep.
You'll never know. With my Sonner Sites sticker, that water just tasted so dang good right there.
Water never tasted better.
Never. It's like the Sonner Sites energy infused into my water bottle.
Happy drink.
Super happy drink.
Happy drink.
Which, by the way, I guess let's talk about some business updates. Pierce doesn't even know this news because he wasn't
kept
there.
A secret.
You were working because you were on call. So I went through and I found a few potential hoodie options for us, and so I sent some inquiries to some product developers. Anyways, so that is underway. And yeah, exciting steps.
Awesome. Yeah, you did tell me that you looked at options, but that's awesome that you reached out to some folk about it. You know?
Oh, let me tell you what.
That's exciting.
There are so many cool things that you can create. All sorts of different things that you can create.
I bet, man.
But mainly in the products, there's just so many cool stuff that we're looking into and that we're excited to share. It's mainly like also a money thing because the minimum order quantity on a lot of them is pretty high. So we would have to like drop some money in. But if you guys support this and keep us going,
you'll get some kick-ass gear.
And we're all excited about that. Who wouldn't be excited for some kick-ass gear?
Well, probably some people out there.
Honestly, some people just don't want to be cool. They don't want to, They don't
want to be a part of the cool kids.
Right.
But also, we can be those kids that people think are weird.
Oh, most definitely. We have a podcast.
Obviously, we're on that spectrum, right?
Yeah. Fun fact, brewed our first batch of beer recently / today. Like we bottled it today.
We bottled the first batch that we started the process of brewing today.
Yes.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. We brewed it like I guess it would have been 14 days ago because we had to wait 14 days.
On the 14th day, they bottled.
Pierce and Trevor bottled their beer.
It was a glorious day, one that went down in history for them as their first bottles of beer brewed.
The first bottle of Sonner Sites beer brought to you by Trevor and Pierce. It's going to be exciting.
Hopefully it doesn't taste like absolute trash.
It definitely could be. We obviously didn't know what we were doing because it was our first time.
And we were having fun, and we were cooking a meal while we were doing it.
Yeah.
We may have made some mistakes. And
so
we may have recovered, and we may not have. So we'll see.
Yeah. We have to wait 14 days before we can actually like put it in the fridge. So it has to sit around for 14 days in darkness.
In case you were wondering about bottling beer, for those of you who care.
So that was our new thing of the month, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like something new that we wanted to try and that we actually did. So it was fun. Highly recommend.
Yeah, it has been. It's been scary, but it's been fun. And I feel like that's with most of all things that you try that are new, that it can be scary at first, but it's also really exciting.
I think it's funny when someone orders the same thing every single time from a place. Sometimes you just find something that you really like and you're not willing to budge from that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you like, you know what you want. And if you're going to pay $15 for a meal, you might as well know you like it.
Right.
So I totally get it in that aspect. But I guess my mindset has just changed so much recently because that used to be me. And now I'm like, what can I try that I haven't tried? I'm all about this new experience dealio. And to each their own. You know who you are.
You know who you
You know
are.
what kind of person you are, and try to do the opposite next time, you know?
I think it's funny whenever we talk about as a society, as people, how we say, like you just said, I think it's funny how people do this. And then like you go back and you say, well, I was once that person. And really it's you
Sure.
talking about yourself, like a past version or just who you were. But like it's funny how people do this. And really you're just kind of talking about yourself in most aspects.
Oh gosh, I do that all the time. I have to stop myself on the podcast, and I think I've done it a few times, but I'll just be like, yeah, it's so weird that, or like, why aren't people just like out living life, you know? And really,
Right.
I'm just talking about myself. Like, why do I have to worry about other people
Right.
that aren't doing it? So I totally get it. So I've tried to like take more accountability for my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I say we or us as a people or the world, I'm like, mainly this is just me thinking.
Right. It's my own thoughts,
Yeah.
my own world.
Why do we do that? Why do we throw ourselves onto everybody else?
Well, I think who wants to take responsibility, man? Like, of course,
it's
if you mess up, who wants to take responsibility for screwing up? Not me. You know,
Not me.
not normal people. Like, not everybody. Nobody.
Are you
does.
talking about yourself? Nobody? Or is it just you, man?
Well, no, that's what I just feel like that's a natural thing. Like, if it's like when you're a kid and you eat a cookie from the cookie jar and then the next morning there's like crumbs everywhere and you forgot to put the lid back on the cookie jar and your mom is like, Pierce, did you eat a cookie? And you're like, no.
Mom, look how skinny I am. Of course I didn't eat a cookie. If I was eating cookies, you would know.
Did a rat open this jar? And you're like, yeah, that's a good idea, Mom. Yeah. Yes,
Must
Mom.
have been.
It had to
There's
have been
no
a
other
rat.
explanation.
And then she just goes on this like crazy stories like, Pierce, that was definitely you. And like, obviously, so it's like a normal, natural thing as a human to not want to take responsibility. And then I feel like once you realize how life is in your own hands, like your life is in your hands and you take responsibility, that's when your life elevates in all aspects. Because you're just aware and you know that it's on you. So you try harder, you work harder, you're more invested in whatever you're doing, or you're more relaxed when you're hanging out, or you do what you want when you're just trying to chill, you know, like you just take action.
Yeah, like responsibility.
Right.
So for me recently, when I would realize that I was talking about like we or like the world or people, I would just get frustrated and mad. And then I realized that I was mainly talking about myself. And when I changed my mindset of that, I was like, oh, well, I can like force myself to be happy too. Mindset change. Oh, wow, this day is a lot better than it used to be, you know?
Right.
So this is one thing that I learned about like that, which is funny and applicable, but just taking ownership and choosing to be happy, like just figuring out the power of the mind. I know we had a episode of that, but really, is anybody going to have full control over their mind all the time? It's hard. It's a learning process, obviously. And so I'm still learning.
What do you think right now has been something that has helped clear your mind? Something that's helped like activate more of your mind?
I could go a lot of avenues. I think the outdoors, like when I'm able to get out of this shithole and walk around the city and feel that vitamin C on my face, that I just like feel better. And I start to realize and see other people and start to like just feel better about life because I know that there's so many different types of people and really I'm doing okay. So that's one. And then another one is taking breaks and trying to distinguish when I'm working and when I'm not working, because that's been stressing me out a lot. And so that's one like mental switch that my mind has been able to do lately and is working on doing, because it's a lot of work for me.
Right.
So that's something that's helped me like gain control over my mind.
Nice. So just concentrating on
making my situation better.
Exactly. Okay, so concentrating on just overall living the way you want to live, thinking the way
it's mainly I just think about the situation I'm in and I realize that it's sucking and I'm just problem solving. I'm just trying to,
I see.
Like with my mind, I want to solve the problems to make myself feel better, which I think that's, do that as a human, but I just try to do it like sooner, I guess. I don't know.
Nice. No,
I don't know if any of this makes sense, because honestly, it doesn't make sense to me even. So
I feel like it makes total sense. It's like being able to be lazy for future self, or being able to, and like your future self is going to be happy because of things you're doing now in the present.
Right. There was like 2 weeks in a row that I never picked up my clothes off my ground in my room, and it was just all messy and just like everything was messy. And I was just kind of like, Just content. I was just like, man, it's not that bad.
I guess.
Nobody's coming over. I don't have a girlfriend, you know, like
Right.
no reason to really clean this up. But it was obviously like a nuisance and a hassle and gross, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so the past like week or two, I've just gotten into a habit of, you know, putting dirty clothes away or putting clean clothes away right when they're done. And that way everything is just clean. And so I like both were easy to do. You know, it was a little bit harder to fold up my t-shirt and put it in the drawer, but it also took the same amount of time almost to throw it in the laundry basket, you know?
Right.
So it's just like, which route am I going to go? So that's one thing that I've been doing to help future self, you know? Because like at night, you're so tired and just like, I just want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do like clean up and stuff, then when you wake up, you're just so much happier. And you're like, man, past self was good to me.
Right. And I have two things to add on to that.
Hit me with it.
First thing is your present self is happy along with your future self because you're happy in the present moment knowing that your future self is also going to be happy. And then like you said, you wake up in the morning or you get home from work and your shoes and your clothes for working out are right there. You're just changing them, like whatever it is, little things.
Oh, yeah.
You're just kind of constantly happy, constantly ready for what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to be doing, the habits you want to create for yourself. And it's like a constant flow of just good behavior, basically, for yourself, and you're treating yourself. The second thing I was going to say is how you mentioned girlfriend. Like, I don't have a girlfriend. Like, I don't have people coming over. It's not really that big of a deal, but really it's for you and the person that you want to be. Like, you don't want to be that person regardless of if you have somebody pushing you to be better, you know, like you should be pushing yourself to be better, and it helps you grow as a person.
I think that's definitely true because I look at my room and I'm like, I'm 23 years old and I've lived on my own for a while now, and this is not how that should represent.
Right. And it's
you know what I was trying to say.
Right. And it's also like when the room is messy and you feel messy, like your mind isn't as clear. Making your bed has been something I've heard my whole life. Like the military talks about doing it when you wake up. And my grandpa served in the military and I lived with him for a few months. And so I woke up pretty early and I had to make my bed. And I served a 2-year mission for the LDS church, and I got in the habit of making my bed. I don't know about every morning, but a lot of mornings. And ever since then, it's just been like a good habit, and I get out of it sometimes, but when I'm back in it and when I'm making my bed, I feel way more put together. I get home and my room is clean. It looks good, and I feel like, okay, well, I don't even have to worry about my room now. What else can I do, you know?
It's like going to the gym. You know, like when you're doing it like 5 times a week, 7 days a week, you know, you're just feeling good. You're like, I am kicking ass and taking names.
Right. And then there's some mornings when you're like, oh, I don't care about anything. And I feel like that's okay. But like it's good to be more in the habit of staying on top of your life and staying on top of things. That way, whenever you do that, you see it and you're like, oh shit, I'm a slob. And you clean up.
Yeah.
But you have those mornings or you have those nights or those days or whatever it is that you just need rest or you're rushing or whatever. Like life happens, you know? That's what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Here's a question that I've thought about before the podcast. And truthfully, we didn't have any idea what we were going to podcast about. So,
Lucky you, this is raw thoughts for you.
Yeah. So all of that was off the cuff, but you know, it was good stuff. Let me ask you a question. What has your mind been thinking of recently? Like, what thought has come to your mind more than once in the past few weeks?
Past few weeks?
A few months.
Few months. Death has been one.
Wow. You sound like me. That's something I would say.
It's not like fear of death. It's like like knowing what the sensation of death would be like or feel like within yourself, like within your body, dying, what that would feel like. Mm-hmm. And thinking about death from close ones or loved ones and honoring the ones who have passed on. Yeah. And so I feel like that's been a big one, and trying to experience the world and the ways and the places and like routes. Like I talked about with planning, it's been fun just looking at Utah and figuring out different ways to go on a trip or routes that lead us to a lot of wild, fun stuff. And other trips, like the road trip, it's fun thinking about really far in the future trips that I've planned with family or whatever. So those two things have just been on my mind, you know, adventure and death. So hopefully those two don't intersect one another for me anytime soon.
Honestly, if death had to happen, I'd rather have it be on an adventure than, you know, whatever else would happen.
Not that we're extremely dangerous.
Yeah, we're really not. Like when it comes to
We keep it PG-13.
backflips and I mean cliff jumping, anything out of the question for that guy. He's deathly afraid.
I hate it. I mean, I usually get peer pressured into it, but I hate it
He
so
hates
much.
every second of it.
It's the worst.
Anyways,
It can be fun, honestly, but it sucks most of the time.
what were we talking about?
Cliff jumping.
Oh,
Thrills.
yeah. I'll tell you what, you won't die of cliff jumping because you probably wouldn't jump off anything more than like 10 feet.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk my life for cliff jumping for
Absolutely not.
sure. Now what?
Well, now what do we do here? Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
It kind of came out of nowhere, but if you were to cut yourself off from society for 5 years and you had to go live somewhere in one spot for 5 years to be cut off from society, where would you go?
5 whole years.
5 years, not of like isolation, but just of you are far away from cities, society.
Can I be in a village?
Yeah.
So I can be
You
around
can have
people.
like a little community, but it's not like a big city. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay. Yeah. Like I don't have social media and a phone and
you're
stuff
not
like that.
attached to the world in
The
any
world,
sort of
just
a
in
way.
my local community.
Right.
Okay. I was gonna say it depends on what state of my life I'm at, but I
Right
guess if I
now.
were to go now, like if this solo trip that I was talking about was the beginning of a 5-year excursion, good gosh. I really want to say somewhere tropical, but for 5 years, I don't know if I could handle that. I'm in between places like Australia and Central America. I say Australia because I feel like I've heard a lot about it, but if you're just like condemning me into one village, I don't know if I could do Australia. That's why I say Central America, somewhere like in Costa Rica
Right.
or somewhere, just because I think I would really like to learn Spanish, and throwing myself in there for 5 years obviously would do that.
Right.
I love that type of culture, and so I feel like it would be really cool and beautiful.
That's a great reason. I feel like that's the perfect way to go about it.
So what about you?
There's something that's drawing me into a small Asian village or
Oh yeah.
a small like Hispanic or
Is the Asian village so you can connect with your heritage?
oh my, get out of here.
Look at him. He's totally Asian. There's no way this guy is an Asian.
I actually have the DNA thing done, spit DNA.
Is it
results.
like 90% Asian?
Like 90% white European.
It's like the same thing.
99% actually. I don't even remember. I would have to look at it, but it's mostly white European.
Okay.
Anywho,
I just give him crap because his eyes are tiny, but you know, it's minor details.
my family even gives me crap. But an Asian, like a small Asian village would just be awesome. The hard thing
That's
would be
true.
the language, but the food and just being in the jungles out there,
Oh, yeah.
it would be crazy. I'm trying to narrow it down a little more. Cambodia, I feel like would be pretty cool. Or Indonesia,
I would love New Zealand
New Zealand,
or Fiji, just somewhere
Fiji.
just oh.
And like you said, Australia sounds awesome too.
Yeah.
But that one, I would be like, I got to travel around. Like I would be exploring all of Australia. You know?
Right.
Like I couldn't sit in one
I'm all
spot.
about this exception thing. Like you have
I
to
know.
I'm there for 5 years, but like, you know, I've got to be able to travel
Where's
around.
the leeway at here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, take me anywhere.
Wherever. But roll a
Throw
dice.
me
Throw
some-
me
yeah.
throw a dart.
We should do that one year. Roll the
Wow.
dice and go on a trip.
Yeah, like our annual
Like we
trip
put like our
and just
our top 6 places, roll a dice, and whichever
Okay.
lands on, we go to.
So anyways, again, please promote the podcast however way you can. Share it with friends, share it with your mom.
Get ready for some awesome products coming soon. Share that with your mom, your ancestors, your everybody through
Tell-
social media.
Tell your mom to text me. She's single.
And she's preferably under 73.
I prefer 75. Take it or leave it. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.